welcome to the Faith on Life podcast. I'm your host, Owen Schultz. Today we'll be talking about the greatest draft steals in NHL history, as well as some news and an introduction to Christianity for those who don't know what Christianity is. We'll be talking about that later in this episode. So my name's Owen, as I just said. I'm 18 years old from Camrose, Alberta, and I grew up as a Oilers fan. And I just love the game of hockey. I follow it. I've been following it since I was 4. And so I consider myself pretty knowledgeable about the game of hockey. I hope you guys enjoy this episode and enjoy the podcast in general. Leave a comment, like the video, subscribe for those who are going to be watching on YouTube. And for those on Spotify, please share with other people. It just helps us grow and helps the ministry that we're trying to do here to reach more people. So thanks for that. That's a little bit about myself. I'm currently a college student as well, so this would be my first experience doing this. So it's a little bit about me. So let's get into some hockey news. Some news that we have learned about this past week, and I'll just recap what's been happening in this last week. So, Victor Hedman is out for weeks at a time with an injury. Ovechkin is now 10th all-time in points, and he scored over 900 goals now. Easton Cowan had himself a game the other night. As well as Rantanen got an embellishment fine. What a baby. For those who love Rantanen, I'm sorry, but that's quite funny that he got fined for embellishment. Rarely see that in the game today. So the league right now, we'll go division by division. So the league right now is looking like at the top, we have the Colorado Avalanche, obviously, because they've been dominating this year. As well, we have other teams. Those other teams... Give me a second here. Division. Alright, so right now, in the Atlantic Division, we have the Boston Bruins leading the way with a 13-10 record. Now, they've played 2 more games than the Red Wings, so the Red Wings could easily get to be the top team in the Atlantic. But that's a little bit of a surprise considering how the Bruins were doing last year. They were horrible, actually. Bruins were garbage. But now they've become a decent squad over there. Over in the Metro, we have the Hurricanes leading the way with a 14-5-2 record and 30 points. So that's the Eastern Conference. On the bottom of those divisions, we have the Buffalo Sabres, closely followed by the Maple Leafs. The Sabres are absolute trash this year. They've not been doing too well as of late. Just in the last 5 years, they have been really struggling to get their squad together and to have a competent team on the ice. Maple Leafs, it's little bit of a surprise. We all thought that they would be top of their division. However, they've been really struggling as Stolarz is injured, Matthews is injured, and their entire squad has been underperforming. As well, in the Metro, we have the Rangers at the bottom of the division. Who would have saw this one? The Rangers were projected to be contenders this year. They have Shesterkin, they have Panarin, they have Fox, they have Zibanejad. They have so many good players on their team, and they are struggling mightily this year. They have a 10-10-2 record. Right behind the Philadelphia Flyers, who have played 3 less games. The Flyers are 10-6-3, so they are 1 point behind the Flyers. However, the Flyers have played 3 less games than the Rangers. That is kind of sad. Going over to the Western Conference now, we see the Avalanche leading the way in the Central Division. They are 14-1-5, and they have 33 points, whereas the Stars only are 13-5-3 with 29 points, and they played an extra game. So Avalanche out to an early lead there through 20 games. They are currently tops in their division. Now for the bottom teams in their division, it's quite close actually. The Predators are last. This is a failed experiment over in Nashville. They have continued to disappoint as they brought in Marchessault, they brought in Luke Schenn, and they brought in Steven Stamkos a couple seasons ago. And now they are last in the division by a little bit there. They got rid of Schenn last season. They're right behind the Blues, though. They're 2 points behind, and they played one less game, so they still have a chance at not being last their next game. Going over to the Pacific Division, another surprise. We see the Ducks leading the way with a 13-7-1 record and 27 points, closely followed by actually three teams there. We see the Kraken at 10-5-5 with 25 points. They are 2 points behind the Ducks, who have 27. The Kings and Knights are both tied with 26. However, the Knights have played a game less than the Ducks and 2 less than the Kings, so they have a chance to take over the division their next game. Not overly surprising. Last in the division and in the league, the Calgary Flames. Now, I feel sorry for you Flames fans, but also I don't, because if you're tanking, you're doing such a good job. This year you are sucky, and so you might actually get shot at first overall. You are 5 points behind the Vancouver Canucks. And the Oilers continue to struggle as they are 9-5. So it's a little bit of league standing updates and news. We see the Leafs and the Oilers struggling mightily. Will we see a firing? Will we see a big trade? We've already seen Troy Stecher get waived. We've seen him get claimed by the Leafs. Now, will we see a shift in the teams? Will we see a trade from the Oilers? That's a great question. We'll see. My bet is no. I don't think we'll see any coaching changes from the Oilers or the Leafs. Even though they're struggling mightily, I don't see it happening because these are two elite teams and they can get back to elite form. They just need some reinforcements. The Leafs, they have Stolars and Matthews injured. I think that if they get those two back, they should be fine. The Oilers, I think they need to get a good, solid top 4D and maybe a bottom 6 wing. And then they'll be fine. Because right now, they can't play defense to save their life. Stuart Skinner, he hasn't been as bad as people are saying. He has actually been top 3 in, what was it? What was the stat? Top 3 in like goals saved or some crazy stat like that. He's been not bad. Pickard, he's been struggling a little bit. He's been fine. It's the defense that needs some help, as Bouchard continues to struggle on defense. We've heard our news for the week. Let's move in to the fun part of this episode, and that is late round steals in the NHL. Now, I'll be creating a top tier team full of late round steals. I'll be going 3 forwards, left wing, right wing, center, left defense, right defense, and goalie. Now, I also have a backup goalie because there are so many good goalies that are taken in the late rounds. All right, and this is an all-time list. So, for my left wing position, I'm kind of no, I'm not really stuck here. I was between like I think Pavel Datsyuk maybe played left wing at some point, but I think he was mostly center. So at the left wing position, give me Luc Robitaille. Luc Robitaille is a Hall of Famer. Played with Wayne Gretzky. Many, many, many points. He was drafted really late. In fact, I think he was drafted in the 9th round. All the way back. All the way back. He was really good. And so, seeing in the 9th round, he was drafted. That is kind of crazy to see that. So, he'll be my left winger. He was really, really good. Hall of Famer, for sure. At my center position, I am torn between like 3 guys here. It's between like Pavel Datsyuk, who was drafted in the 7th round, Henrik Zetterberg, former teammate of his, also drafted late, and Joe Pavelski, who I could slide over to the right wing. So I'll probably take him at my right wing. But it's between Datsyuk and Zetterberg. For me, Datsyuk's a way more flashy player. And Zetterberg, he wasn't the most flashy player, but he was very consistent. And he was a good two-way center there. But I already do have that two-way player in Luc Robitaille because he was pretty good defensively as well. I do think I'll be taking Pavel Datsyuk here just because Luc Robitaille is kind of like the Zach Hyman of the 90s and 80s. He was quite the net front presence. And so I think taking Pavel Datsyuk will really fit with him because he was a really flashy guy. So it's kind of like putting McDavid and Hyman together. But it's Pavel Datsyuk and Luc Robitaille. 2 Hall of Famers. Pavel Datsyuk should be a Hall of Famer in my eyes. If he's not already. I can't remember if he is. So he'll be at my center position. The other left winger I was considering was Jamie Benn. However, Jamie Benn is nowhere near as good as Luc Robitaille. Because Luc Robitaille is real good. Anyways, so we got Robitaille. We have Pavel Datsyuk. At the right winger position, I will be taking Joe Pavelski. That's a little bit not a great fit, but he is the best player available at that position. I do think that overall he should be a Hall of Famer, even though he didn't win any championships, no MVPs, nothing like that. But he should be a Hall of Famer for sure when he's allowed to be. So I think putting him at the right wing position, I think that's a good choice. Even though he's basically like Luc Robitaille, he's a net front presence. So I think putting him there isn't the greatest idea for fit, but he's the best player available at that position. Okay, so for left defenseman, I was thinking about 2 different guys. I was thinking between. Let me check my notes here. Who I was thinking about? I was thinking about. Actually, you know what? I'm not gonna go with positions for defensemen because in today's day and age, the defensemen can play anywhere. It just depends on their handedness. And so I think I'll be taking 2 defensemen. Doesn't matter the position. They can be either a left defenseman or right defenseman. I can put them anywhere. So that's fine. I'll be taking Andrei Markov. Andrei Markov was a late round steal by the Montreal Canadiens back in '98, drafted 162nd overall. And he is a legendary franchise defenseman. He's really good. He in his time with the Montreal Canadiens, only Larry Robinson and Guy Lapointe have more points in the blue and red. So he was a underrated pick, and he was a puck moving blue liner. And I'm getting some of these things from dailyfaceoff.com. So if you guys want to check them out, they're a great website for checking out the team's lineups for the day, stuff like that. They also have articles. They're a great website. Shout out to them. At the other defensive position, there's a couple of good selections here. However, I could have taken Brian Campbell. For those who don't know, he's a Stanley Cup champion he actually is a 2-time Stanley Cup champion. Nope, that was Andre Palat. He won a Stanley Cup with the Chicago Blackhawks, second team All-Star, and he won the Lady Byng Trophy. So that means he was a really good sportsman. However, I'm going to basically take the opposite of him in Dustin Byfuglien. Dustin Byfuglien was drafted real late, 245th overall by the Chicago Blackhawks, way back in 2003. Now, Byfuglien personally is one of my favorite players. He originally was drafted as a left winger. However, I'm taking him as a defenseman because he's shifted over there in like 2012. And so he was huge. He was like 6'5", 260. He was a big boy. Used to be called Big Buff. So he will be my pick. We need a guy who can destroy people, but also put up points. And so Big Buff is my choice for the other defensive spot. For goalies, there are so many goalies, dude. There's like Ryan Miller, Pekka Rinne, Mike Smith, Henrik Lundqvist, Ryan Miller, all of these guys who were elite goalies in their day. But for me, I do tend to agree with Daily Faceoff on this one. I think that out of those 5, Henrik Lundqvist is the best. He was a perennial Vezina candidate when he was in his prime, and he's just one of the good guys out there in the league. Shout out to him, praying for him as he has a heart condition, so that's why he retired kind of suddenly from the league. So I'll be picking Henrik Lundqvist for goalie there. That's my starting 5. At the left wing, we have Luke Robitaille. Center, Pavel Datsyuk. Right wing, Joe Pavelski. Yeah, I didn't forget who that was. At one of the defensive, we have Andrei Markov, puck-moving defenseman. The other one, we have Dustin Byfuglien. What a guy he was. And at the goaltending position, we have Henrik Lundqvist. So, to me, that's the best starting 5 6 for a late round draft pick, all-time team. Let me know what you think. Personally, I was going sixth round and later. So when I found out Luke Robitaille was a 9th round draft pick, imagine how I felt there. I was like, what? So tell me what you think in the comments. Create your own squad, and tell me what you think about mine. So next up, we'll be going into what Christianity is and how and why I believe it. Christianity, what is it? Why do I personally believe in it? And why do a lot of people believe in it or say they do? So, for those who don't know, Christianity is the belief in Christ. Who is Christ? Well, when we're talking about Christ, we're talking about Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ is the most documented man in history. Before the online era, obviously, because we're now all documented pretty heavily. He is the most storied man in history. And according to manuscripts, he did some amazing things in his time. Now, what did he do? Well, he raised a person from the dead. Twice, he did it to 2 people. There's a little girl and there was his friend Lazarus. He has healed many, many people. He fed 5,000 men and their families. He fed 4,000 people, 4,000 men and their families. So in those events, he had 5 loaves and 2 fish. And I don't remember the other one, but there weren't a lot of fish and bread in those ones. And they were all full. That's after days of preaching to them. Now, for those who are skeptical and are like, well, who's this Jesus fellow? I don't really understand, and I don't really want to understand. He, as the Bible tells us, he is practically. We all have a moral code, right? We all have a moral code. And for those who don't have a moral code, comment below, I guess. If you don't have a moral code, then I'll explain what a moral code is. A moral code is where we inherently know something's bad. We inherently know that murdering, for example, is a bad thing and is punishable, and we go to jail for it, right? Most of us know that. That's a moral code. We all know that. Jesus is our moral code. And for those who don't believe that God is real, there's got to be someone who created us with a moral code, right? That moral code has to come from somewhere. We just didn't come up with it ourselves. It was ingrained in us throughout time. Now, sure, you can argue, well, I believe in the Big Bang Theory, and that's fine. But you can believe what you want. I'm just telling you what I believe right now. I'm not trying to judge anyone. However, as a Christian, I do believe that Jesus Christ is my Lord and Savior, and I've witnessed some stuff that has really changed my perspective on people and on the world around me. For example, when I was a little guy, I was like 10 years old, 11 years old. My dad was diagnosed with bipolar disorder, but before he was diagnosed, he became really depressed. He couldn't really leave his bed because he was just laying there and sleeping. And so I was very mad. I started to act out. I started to threaten to hit my brothers, and I did a couple times. I just got really, really mad at myself, or not myself, at God, at my dad. And I was in a really, really tough spot. However, I'd say 2 years later, after praying really hard, everyone around me praying for my dad, he got healed. He still has to take the pills, sure. He still has tough days, yes. However, they figured out how to medicate him and how to get him in a place where he is okay today. Now, I still get angry. However, I've been transformed by Jesus Christ through the reading of his word and through prayer. Prayer has changed my life and has transformed me from an angry, angry young man who, honestly, I think if I was still angry today, I wouldn't be here. I would probably be in jail because I was so mad. Like, one time, I threatened to hit my brother with skate blades. And for those who know, skate blades are sharp, and I threatened to cut him with it. I could easily gone to juvie if I had went through on that. I was very angry. And so, through prayer, I prayed really hard. Well, no, I didn't. I prayed just in general. I prayed. I went to the therapist. The therapist did stuff, but not a ton of stuff. And so I was transformed through prayer. I'm sure my family was praying for me as well. And so I no longer have those fits of rage. I no longer threaten to hit people with skate blades. I no longer have those issues. They are no longer prevalent in my life because I have put my faith in Jesus. He has transformed me from the inside out. Now, as a teenager, I think I was like 14 years old. I started to really struggle with lust, and that lust turned into a struggle with masturbating, and that was a really low point in my life. I started to really struggle with that every day. And I went to school, so there was obviously girls there, and so I really started to struggle with that. But through prayer and petition, and a lot, and a lot, and a lot, and a lot of prayer, just every day, basically. I still do struggle with it, but it is not as bad as it was before. Not even close. God has really worked in that way. So that's a little bit of introduction to Christianity. A little bit. And it is like, there's an entire book about it. I would encourage you guys to find your local church if you have any questions. Because I'm no expert on this thing. I'm no expert. I'm just trying to tell you guys what I believe. And so if you have any questions, reach out to your local church. And if you don't know where your local church is, then there is definitely a church in your town. So I encourage you to reach out to them. You can use Google. They're there. And if you don't, that's okay. But if you have any questions, you can also reach out to me, and I'll try to answer them to the best of my abilities. But I don't know everything, so I'll be searching Bible. I'll be praying for you guys. I want to leave you today with a passage from Isaiah. It's Isaiah 41. Isaiah 41. Isaiah 41:10. It says, "Fear not, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you. I will help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand." That's a passage that really has impacted me personally, because I know that there's God up there, and that He loves me so much, and He sent His Son to die. The perfect sacrifice for all of the bad things I've done, which is sin. He sent Him to die. He died on a cross for us. He was raised on the third day, just like He said. He is who He said He was, and He appeared to a woman. Now, if back in the day women weren't valued at all. Sorry, I'm gonna ramble a little bit. Back in the day, women weren't valued at all, and so if Christianity was fake, they would have said that He appeared to a man, because men were valued so much back in that time of early first century. And so if He had appeared to a man, people would have been like, "Oh yeah, it makes sense. But He appeared to a woman. He appeared to a woman. That is very significant for this day, because if he hadn't appeared to a woman, I can't explain this well, but He appeared to a woman. That's very significant, because women weren't valued at all, and so that kind of proves the credibility of the claim. As well, just think about how many people have died for Christ. Like in the beginning, all of His disciples died for Him. Now they wouldn't have died if they didn't believe that He was truly the Son of God. And so Sorry, that was a little bit of a ramble, but that's kind of the introduction to Christianity woven with my story back into Christianity a little bit. So that's kind of how that segment was. So I'm gonna pray to close, and I'll send you on your way for your day. Lord, I thank you so much for the people watching this. I just pray that you would bless them today, that they would feel your presence, and that you would continue to work in them, that they would become curious about you if they don't know you already. And for those who do know you in this audience, I pray for them that they would continue to work on their faith, that they would continue to think about the theology. So Lord, I thank you for this day. I just pray all these things in your great holy name. Amen. Thank you for watching today. I hope you guys have a great day. It'd be great if you were to share this podcast with those you love, and just people out there. And if you enjoyed this content, please like and subscribe. I don't want to ask you guys to like and subscribe, but it really does help to push this ministry out to the people of the world. So thank you guys for watching. I'll see you in the next one.